It was the heyday of American muscle, when four-wheel powerhouse machines replaced the motorcycle as the open road symbol of the rebel. A time when gas cost a quarter and horses under the hood left rubber on the asphalt. It may have been the last gasp of the Detroit-ruled adventure, because you can't jump a Prius over a 30-foot ravine. It's the era of the car chase picture, this time on Missing Reel.
If the automobile is America's one true love, then car chase pictures are the dirty, candid Polaroids in America's sock drawer. Henry Ford was cranking out Model Ts, and Hollywood was cranking out silent films, both to a hungry audience. A group of comedy shorts that featured a bumbling, incompetent police force known as the Keystone Cops pioneered the car chase film. Their brand of physical comedy also required a great deal of stunt work, most of which was learned by trial and error. And while films over the next several decades continued to use car chases as a vehicle for dramatic tension, it wasn't until hot rods and stock car racing captured youthful imaginations that adrenaline began to charge through the movies. Though mostly films about drag and stock car racers, they nonetheless made leadfoot car culture a box office sure thing. In 1967, British film director Peter Yates, who would go on to make films like The Deep and Crawl, added a wild car chase to his film The Robbery. So wild, in fact, that Steve McQueen would ask Yates to direct his next film and to endeavor to top that car chase scene. The result was cinema history.
The way Frank Bullett's swinging, you know he's heading for a crash with that wall of official disapproval. But when some rare Chicago blood starts spilling in San Francisco, they hand Bullitt the mop.
Are you suggesting I disclosed his whereabouts?
You believe what you want. You work your side of the street, and I'll work mine.
Bullitt would change the way cars were seen and utilized in the movies. The films that followed, including the iconic French Connection and The Italian Job, drug audiences out of the backseat and onto the hood for wild and dramatic sequences. But even though the chase scenes would often outshine the rest of the movie, the car was never more than a bit player. Until 1971.
Name, Kowalski. Occupation, driver. Transporting a supercharged Dodge Challenger from Denver to San Francisco. Background, Medal of Honor in Vietnam. Former stock and bike racer. Former cop, dishonorably discharged. Now he uses speed to get himself up, to get himself gone.
This is yours truly, Super Soul, directed live transmission from KOW, with a wham bam, boom boom, wake up music.
It's the maximum trip at maximum speed. Vanishing Point.
Vanishing Point really was the godfather of the modern car chase picture. For the first time in Hollywood, the car was as much a part of the story as any other character. And this particular 1970 Dodge Challenger would be referenced in film after film to this very day. But it wasn't alone in 1971. Another film took a decidedly different approach to the cross-country car chase and followed more in the footsteps of Easy Rider.
What are you trying to do, blow my mind? They're not for you. They're just a bunch of small-town car freaks, that's all they are.
Sure we'll race. You damn right we'll race.
Thanks. Pink slips? You mean for cars? Where to?
You name it.
Washington, D.C. I don't like being crowded by a couple of punk road hogs clear across 2 states. If I wanted to bother, I could suck you right up my tailpipe.
Now, this man's dangerous, officer. He passed us on the right a couple of miles back. I swear he's going about 90. He must be on something. Take it easy, man. You're gonna kill us.
Whereas the motorcycle was the vehicle of choice for the rebel through the 50s and 60s, the bald tire American muscle car became the bad boy ride of choice through the 1970s. Behind the wheel of a competition green 1969 Dodge Charger RT, the same model used in later years on TV's Dukes of Hazzard, Peter Fonda and Susan George outran police helicopters and scored big box office as an anti-hero couple on the run.
Dirty Mary, crazy Larry, right on.
I'm gonna eat your lunch, you long-haired. You remember Robert Mitchum in Thunder Road? I'm gonna powder his face.
Dirty Mary, I think someone's knocking on the door. Crazy Larry,
He wants to play.
you got to move in. No time to tarry.
Peter Fonda, Susan George, Adam Rourke, Vic Morrow, Roddy McDowell, Dirty Mary, and Crazy Larry. They don't call them that for nothing.
The formula for this film would be copied in the late 1970s by Burt Reynolds in his Smokey and the Bandit movies. 1974's Gone in 60 Seconds expands the story of an insurance adjuster turned unstoppable car thief into an excuse to destroy more than 500 cars.
His front, insurance investigation. His business, stealing cars. And now he's got to fill the biggest contract yet. You can lock your car, but if he wants it, it's gone in 60 seconds. Sometimes when you steal a car, you get more than you bargained for.
Holy shit! Here. Who is it? Police!
The whole damn thing's loaded. Fasten your seatbelt for what Carcraft magazine calls the most hair-raising chase scene ever filmed. Hollywood Reporter says it's a thrill a minute. You owe it to your car to see Gone in 60 Seconds. It's grand theft entertainment. Gone in 60 Seconds. Rated PG.
The excitement of the genre proved too much of a temptation for B-movie impresario Roger Corman, who, true to form, took the car chase picture to the extreme. Death Race 2000 starred David Carradine and a pre-Rocky Sylvester Stallone.
The year 2000. America is a vast speedway. People line the streets to witness the greatest drivers on earth in a race from sea to shining sea.
This is a death race.
Death Race 2000, rated R.
When Ron Howard, fresh off a feature film success with George Lucas and American Graffiti, decided that he wanted to direct his own films, he approached Roger Corman. The deal was made. If Howard starred in one picture for Corman, Corman would put Howard behind the lens for another. The future Academy Award winner honored his starring role commitment with 1977's Eat My Dust.
What, can they catch us?
Yeah, if I run into a wall or something.
Hoover, you're outrageous.
Ron Howard pops the clutch and tells the world to eat my dust.
The impact of these over-the-top white-knuckle films is so prevalent that it's hard to say that the genre ever really left theaters after the Grindhouse era. They are America's obsession and fire off the imaginations of anyone who has ever taken the wheel with an empty highway in front of them.